As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion, bequeathed me by will the 4,000 crowns, as thou sayest, charge my brother on his blessing to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. He stays me here at home, unkept, proclaiming that king for a gentleman of my birth. His forces are bred better, but I, his brother, take nothing under him but growth. He bars me the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, finds my gentility and my education. This is it, Adam, that grieves me in the spirit of my father, which I think is intended against mutiny, against the servitude. I will no longer endure it. Yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Why, nothing. I'm not taught to make anything.
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well, here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
Aye. Better than him I am before knows me. I know you are my elder brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. The courtesy of nations allows you my better, and that you are the firstborn, but the same tradition takes not away my blood. I have as much of my father in me as you.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Roland the Boys. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat, till the Southern had pulled out thy tongue for saying so.
Sweet masters, be patient. For your father's remembrance be in accord.
Let me go, I say!
I will not, you shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore allow me such exercises as will become a gentleman.
Well, sir, get you in. I will not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part of your will. I pray you leave me. Get you with him, you old dog.
Old dog, my rule. Most true, I have lost my teeth in your service. Be with my old master here, so such a word.
Even so, will visit your rankness, yet give no 1,000 crowns neither.
Good power to your worship. Good Richard Charles, what's the new news in the new court? There is no news in court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old duke is banished by his younger brother, the new duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have gone into voluntary exile with him. Where will the old duke live? Marry, sir, they say he's already in the forest of Arden, and many merry men with him. And there they live like the old Robin Hood of England.
What? You wrestle for the new duke tomorrow?
Marry do I, sir. And I came to acquaint you with the matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition to come against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and if he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit it well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love I would loath to foil him, as I must for my honor if he come in. Therefore came I to acquaint you with all, that you may stay him from the tempest.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I had notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have by underhand means labored to dissuade him from it, but he is resolute. I'll tell thee, Charles, it is a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore use thy discretion. Have his leave done to break his neck as his finger.
I am heartily glad I came hither to you. If you come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment.
Farewell, good Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. I hope I shall see an end of him, for my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he is gentle, so much in the heart of the world, and especially of my own people, that I am altogether misprized.
Rosalind, sweet, my cuss, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were merrier. Unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Here can I see thou lovest me, no will wait that I love thee. If my uncle, my banished father, had banished thy uncle, my father's, thou hadst still been with me. I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine.
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in that of yours.
You know my father hath no child but I. Truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For all that he had taken away from my father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor, I will. When I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet rose, my dear rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will cause and devise sports. Let me see, what think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do and make good sport withal, will have no man in good good earnest.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and watch the good house by fortune from her wheel, that all her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced. The bountiful blind woman doth most mistake in her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for though she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and though she makes honest, she makes very ill favorably.
Mistress! You must come away to your father!
Made the messenger.
No, by mine honor, but I was bid to come for thee.
Where learned you that oath, fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honor the pancakes were good, and swore by his honor the mustard was not. Now, I'll stand to it. The pancakes were not, and the mustard was good, and yet it was not the knight forswore.
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
I marry now and muzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now! Stroke your chins and swear by your beards that I am a knave!
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I won. But if you swear by that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any. Or if he did, he swore it away before he ever saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Enough, you'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely, but wise men may do foolishly.
But here comes Monsieur Laveau
With his mouthful of news.
which you will put upon us as pigeons feed their young.
Bonjour, Monsieur Laveau. What is the nouvelle, princess? You have lost much good sport.
Sport in what color?
What color, madame, or shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destinies decree. You amaze me, ladies. I would have taught you much good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you to begin, and if it please your ladyships, you may see that. As it comes an old man and his 3 sons.
Oh, I can match that beginning with an old tail.
The eldest of the three wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him, breaking 3 of his ribs, such that there is little hope of life in him. Ho, ho, ho! So he served the second and so the third. Yonder they lies, the poor old man's are making such pitiful dole of themselves, and all the beholders take some part in weeping.
Alas!
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost? What is this that I speak of? Oh, why? Thus men may grow wiser every day. 'Tis the first time that ever I heard that breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here is the place according to the wrestling as they are ready to perform it.
Oh, yonder sure they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
Come on, since the youth will not be entreated at his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even here, madame.
Alas, he is so young, yet he looks successfully.
Oh, how now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him. But he will not be entreated. Speak to him, lady, see if you can.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess. He is the general challenger. I come in as others do to try with the strength of my youth.
You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. We pray you for your own sake to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young man, your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We'll make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go
I
forward.
beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shame that is never gracious. If killed, was one dead who was willing to be so.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine to eke out hers.
Fare you well, pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Come! Where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
You mean to mock me after? Should not have mocked me before.
But come your ways.
Now Hercules be thy speed, young man.
Ah!
I want a word visible strength, strong fellow by the leg.
Young man!
Right as thunderbolt in mine eye, you're telling me.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
Oh, the world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did find in him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed, hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would that thou hadst told me of another father.
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loves Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind.
Sir, you are well deserved. If you do keep the promises of love, but swiftly as you've exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that could use more but that her hand wax needs. Will you go, cousin?
Ah, you're very welcome, gentlemen.
Can I not say, I thank you.
He calls us back my pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I could not speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art o'erthrown.
Sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have well deserved high commendation, true applause, and love. It's such as now is the Duke's condition that he misconstrues all that you have done.
I thank you, sir, and pray you. Tell me this. Which of the two was the daughter of the Duke that he was under wrestling?
These are his daughter, if we judge by man and sentiment. The lesser is his daughter. The other is that daughter to the banished Duke, here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are nearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of late, this Duke can take displeasure against his gentle niece, founded upon no other arguments than that the people love her for her virtues, and pity her for her good fathers. And all my life, this malice against the gentle lady was so grateful. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge.
I rest much bound to you, fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant to Duke, unto a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind.
Why, cousin? Why, Rosalind? Cupid of mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be thrown away upon curs. Come, throw some of them at me, lame me with reason.
Then there are two cousins laid up, and the one should be laid with reasons, and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No, some of it is for my child's father.
Come, wrestle with your affection.
Well, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Is it possible? On such a sudden you should fall into so strong a liking with Sir Roland's youngest son.
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Does it therefore ensue you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
No, Faith, hate him not for my sake, but love him because I do. Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste and get you from our court.
Me, uncle.
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. Never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thou art thy father's daughter, there's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom, so was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord.
Your sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stayed her for your sake, else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, We have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together, and wheresoever we've been still, when we like Juno's swans, coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool, she robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips, firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence in on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. You needs provide yourself if you outstay the time upon mine honor and in the greatness of my word, you die!
Prithee, be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke had banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, have not. Rosalind and lacks the love which teacheth thee that thou and I are one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part? Sweet girl. No, let my father seek another heir, for by this heaven I will go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
Seek my uncle in the forest of our
Alas, what danger shall it be to us maids, as we are to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll dress myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face, the like to you, and so we shall pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better that I did suit me all points like a man? We'll have a swashing and a martial outside, as many other mannish cowards have that do outface it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee with our demand?
I'll have no worse a name than Job's own page. Therefore, look, you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something hath reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
A cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of thy father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
Oh, he'll go o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone, Mood. Come, let's away. Let's gather our jewels and our possessions all together, devise the fittest time and the safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my blood. Come, go we content to liberty and not to banishment.
Who's there?
Oh, my young master. Oh, agreeable sir. Oh, thank you. Oh, why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? Oh, your grace has come up too swiftly before you. What's the matter? You come now to these doors and to this roof. The envy of all your graces is your brother. You're not the brother. You're the son. You're not the son. I will not call him son. Of him I was to call his father. I've heard your graces, and this night is to burn the lodging where you used to lie, you within it. If you fail that, you have other means to cut you off. I've heard of endless practices. This is no house. This place is but a butchery. Abhorrent spirit, do not enter.
Why whither and whither have me go?
No matter whither, so you come not
What?
here.
Whither have me go and beg my food with a base and boisterous sword and force of thievish living on the common road? I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns. With 50 higher I said, go to your father. Here's the gold. Let me be thy servant. Do I look old? Yet I am strong and lusty. I'll do the service of younger men in all your businesses and necessities.
Oh, good old man. How well he appears the service of the antique world, where service but for duty, not for me. Thou art not for the fashion at these times, where none will sweat for promotion, and having it to choke their service out, even with the heavy. It is not so with thee. But come thy ways. We'll go along together, and ere we have thy useful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp of truth and loyalty.
Was another magic past with a and a hey no need no that over the green corn did pass. In the springtime, the only pretty ring-time, when birds do sing, hey, ding-a-ding-ding. Sweet mothers love the spring, and therefore take the present time with a hey and a ho and a hey no need no, for love is crowned with divine. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing, hey ding-a-ding-ding. Between the acres of the rye, with a hey and a ho and a hey no need no, these pretty country folks would lie. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing, hey ding-a-ding-ding. This carol they began that hour with a hey and a ho and a hey no need no, how that a life is but a flower. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing, hey ding-a ding ding.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted palm? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we but the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, and as the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's winds, which, when it bites and blows upon my body even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, these are no flatterers. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, and this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I would not change it. Happy is your grace that you translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet, it irks me that poor dappled fools have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy Jackass screams at that. Today, my lord of Amiens and myself did steal behind him as he lay long under an oak, whose antique root peeps out upon the brook that rolls along this wood, to the which place a poor sequestered stag that, from the hunter's name contain a hurt, did come to languish. And the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase. And thus, the hairy fool, much marked of the melancholy Jackass, stood on the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
Oh, we did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing tears.
Show me the place. I love to comfort him when he's in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
I'll bring it to you up straight.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits.
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I pray you bear with me. I can go no further.
For my part, I had rather bear with you than bear you.
Well, this is the Forest of Arden.
Now am I in Arden. The more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
I be so good touchstone.
Look you, who comes here?
Now that is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
Well, I hardly guessed, for I have loved ere now.
No, Corin, being old, thou canst not guess.
But if thy love were e'er like to mine, sure I think did never man love so. How many actions most ridiculous as thou withdrawn by thy fancy?
Like into 1,000. that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didst ne'er love so heartily. Thou rememberest not the slightest folly that love ever did make thee blind. If thou hast not loved, or if thou hast not stood as I do now, wearying thy ear in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved, or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe. Phoebe. Phoebe! Jove, the shepherd's passion is much upon my passion.
And mine, although it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, will one of you question yon man if he for gold will give us any food? I faint almost to death.
Holla! You clown!
Fool, he's not that kid's name.
Who calls?
Your better, sir!
Thus are they very wretched.
These I say.
Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a young maid with travel, much oppressed that faints for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her and wish for her sake more than for mine own my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am shepherd to another man. My master is of churlish disposition. Besides, his coat, his flocks, and bounds of feed are now on sale. And at our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice, most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy his flock and pasture?
Oh, that young swain that you saw here but ere while, that cares little for buying anything.
I prithee, shepherd, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And woman, thy wages. I like this place and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. If you like, upon report, the soil, the profit, and this kind of life, I will, your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me and turn his merry home unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
More, prithee, more.
It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jackus.
I thank you. I can suck melancholy out of a song, as a weasel sucks eggs. More, prithee, more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Another stanza. All you want stanzas?
What you will, Monsieur Jackus.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing.
Sirs, come to the wild. The Duke will drink here under this tree. He has been all this day to look you.
And I have been on this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my taste. I think of as many things as him, and yet I give heaven thanks and make no boast of him. I'll give you a verse I wrote to this note yesterday in spite of my intention.
Thus it goes. If it to come to pass that any man turn ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please, doth Dame. Dame? Dame. Here shall he seek rose fools as he, and if he will come to me. What's that, Dame?
It is a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle.
I'll go see the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Oh, I put over there. Oh, I died for food. I cowered. You're out of my grave. Farewell,
Why, now, Adam. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it or bring it from food to thee. Thy conceit is nearer death than thy powers. For my sake, be comforted. Hold death a while at the arm's end. I will leave thee with you. And if I bring thee not something to eat, then I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said. Now look so cheerily, and I'll be with thee quickly. Oh, if thou liest in the bleak air. Come, come, I will bear thee to some shelter. And thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner. Cheerily, good Adam.
Go! Seek him, tell him I would speak with him.
He saves my labor by his own approach. Why now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must rule your company? What? You look merrily.
a fool!
I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool. A miserable world. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his pocket, looking on it with lackluster eyes, says, very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus may we see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour since it was 9. And in 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we write and write. And then from hour to hour we wrought and wrought. And thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like chanticleer, and I did laugh. An hour by his dial. Noble fool, worthy fool. Motley's the only wear.
What fool is this?
A noble fool, one that hath been a courtier, he swears, and says that if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his range is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a long voyage. He has strange places crammed with observation, the witchy Benson, mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool, I am ambitious for a modern code.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only wear. Invest me in my motley, give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Fie on thee, I can tell thee what thou wouldst do.
What? For a counter would I do? What good?
Most mischievous foul sin in chiding sin, for thou thyself hast been a libertine.
I who can cry out on pride, that can bear and tax and private party. Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea, till that the very weary means to ebb? What woman in the city do I name? When that I say, the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders. Who can say that I need her? When such a one as she, such as her neighbor. Why, then?
Come here! I need no more,
I have eaten none yet.
nor shalt thou till necessity be served.
Of what crime should this prophet come of?
He dies that touches any of this fruit, till I and my affairs are answered.
If you will not be answered with reason, I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force,
More than your force prove us to gentleness.
I almost died for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak to you so gently. Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whatever you are, that in this desert inaccessible under the shade of melancholy boughs, loose and neglected creeping hours of time, if ever thou hast looked on better days, if ever sat at any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear, know which is to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be. In the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True it is, but we have seen better days, sat in good men's feasts and wiped our eyes with drops that sacred pity hath engendered. Therefore sit you down in gentleness. Take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then let forbear your food a little while, whilst like a doe I go to find my fawn and give food. There's an old poor man who after me hath many a weary step lived in pure love, till he be first sufficed. Oppressed with two weak evils, age and hunger, I will not touch a bit.
We'll find him out. We will nothing waste till you return.
Thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All of the world's a stage. And all the men and women merely players. They have their entrances and their exits. And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in his nurse's arms, then a whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. Then, the lover, sighing like furnace with the woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then, the soldier, bearded like the pard and full of strange odors, quick and sudden and quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. Then, the justice, in bare round belly with good cape and line, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of modern instances and wise saws, and so in places apart. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, his youthful hose well preserved, and his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble pipes and whistles at the sounds. The last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Sit down your venerable Reuben and let him feed.
I thank you most for it.
So had you scarce can speak to thank you.
Welcome, call too. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. If that you are the good Sir Roland's son, as you whisper faithfully you were, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The remainder of your fortune. No. Good old man. Thou art right welcome as thy master is. So what am I to your mere hand? Let me all your fortunes understand.
I know, sing I know unto the King of His friendship, saving most loving, near the lead. I hope I'll be this life is most jolly.
donate. We have a hat right here, or you can send them us at social@UVA. See that?
And we're gonna miss PTA guys!
It's Halloween, so thank you for sending
Like, watch your face.
Not see him since! Sir, that cannot be. Find out thy brother, wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle and bring him dead or living within this 12-month, or seek thou no more to turn to living in our territory. Thy lands and all things that thou dost call thine, worth seizure do we seize into our hands till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we charge against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heartiness. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain now. Well, do this expediently. Push them out of doors and get you going.
Hang there my verse and witness of my love. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their marks my thoughts on character. And every eye which in this forest looks shall see that virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, Orlando, carve on every tree that bear the chaste and unexpressive sheen.
How likes you this shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life, but in respect it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect it is solitary, I like it very well, but in respect it is private, it is very vile. Now, in respect it is in the fields, it pleaseth me well, but in respect it is not at court, it is tedious. Hast thou any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No. More than I know that the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is. That good pasture makes fat sheep. That a great cause of the night is lack of the sun. And he that hath learned no wit by art nor nature may complain of good breeding, or else comes of a very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Wast thou ever at court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned!
Day I hope.
Truly, thou art damned like an ill-roasted egg all on one side.
For not being at court, you reason.
Why? What? If thou never wast at court, then thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, then thy manners are wicked, and wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Shepherd, thou art in a parlous state.
Not a whit, Touchstone. For those that are good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as the behavior of the country is most mockable at the court. You told me you salute not at court, but that you kiss your hands. That courtesy would be most uncleanly of courtiers and shepherds.
Instance briefly. Come, instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes, and their bells, you know, are greasy.
Why do not your courtiers' hands sweat? And is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow! A better instance, come!
Besides, our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again, a more sounder instance come.
Have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest damned? God help thee, shallow man.
Sir?
Shallow man.
Sir?
Shallow man.
Sir?
Shallow man.
Sir?
Oh.
I am a true laborer.
Oh.
I earn that I eat, get that I wear. Oh, no man hate, envy no man's happiness. And the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck.
Is another simple sin in you to bring the ewes and the rams together to be bought to a bellwether and to betray a she-lamb of a 12 months to a crooked-pated old cockle-flea ram? Out of all reasonable match, if thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds.
Here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From east to western inn, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her words being mounted on the wind through all the world fair as Rosalind, all the pictures fair as lined. Are but black to Rosalind, let no fair be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind?
All right, so 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours, except out fool for a taste. If a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose will find love's strength and Rosalind. These are the very false gallant of verses. Why do you infect yourself with the
Peace, you dull fool, I found them on a tree.
Truly the tree yields bad fruit. Tongues I'll hang on every tree that shall civil saying show. Helen's cheek, but not her heart. Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part. Sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus, Rosalind of Evelina was devised of many faces, eyes, and heart to have the touches dearest prize.
Oh, most gentle Jupiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal?
Now, back friends, shepherd, walk a little, go with him, Cyril.
Come now, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat, though not back and baggage, but with script and scrimmage.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all, and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
Didst thou hear, without wondering, how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
Is it a man?
And to change you once more about his neck. Change your color?
Prithee, who?
Is it possible?
May I prithee now, most petitioner be him, tell me who it is?
Most wonderful, wonderful, most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that out of all whooping.
I prithee tell me who it is quickly, and speak apace. I would thou couldst stammer, that thou mightst pour this concealed man out of thy mouth as wine comes out of a narrow mouthed bottle, either too much once or none at all. I pray thee take the cork out of thy mouth that may drink thy tidings.
Oh, so you may put a man in your belly?
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
He hath but a little beard.
Oh, God will send him more if the man be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is Orlando who tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart both in an instant.
Orlando.
Orlando.
Oh, alas the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Where went he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must charming gargantua's mouth
But
first.
does he know that I am in this forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
And is this easiest to count atomy? Is this resolve the propositions of a lover? I found him under a tree like a drop acorn.
It may well be called Job's tree when it drops forth fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
He was furnished like a hunter.
Ooh, ominous. He comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden, yet thou bringest me out of tune.
When I think I must speak sweet, say on.
To bring me out, comes he not here?
Ooh, 'tis here. Slip by and note him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith I had to sleep with myself alone.
And so had I, but yet for fashion's sake I thank you too, for your society.
Goodbye, let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you mar no more trees with writing love songs in their bark.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name.
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers. Will you sit down with me and we two will rail against our mistress, the world, and all our misery?
No, I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most
The
faults.
worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I would not change for your best virtue, I weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I did find you.
He is drowned in the river, look within and you shall see him.
There shall I see my own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Seymour love.
I am glad of your departure, adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
Do you hear, Forrester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you. What is it o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
And there's no true lover in the forest, all sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy what time is the clock?
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
Here, in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, one that knew courtship too well, for he fell in love. I thank God I am not a woman to be touched by so many idiot senses as he hath taxed their whole sex with love.
Can you remember any of the principal evils he laid to the charge of woman?
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a man that haunts the forest and abuses our young plants with the carving of Rosalind on their barks. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. I pray you tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. And your hose should be ungartered, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make you believe I love.
Me believe it, you may assume make her that you love believe it. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to the youth, by the hand of Rosalind, I am that he. That unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Ah, neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any son?
Yes, one. And in this manner, he was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me. At which time would I, being but a moonish youth, breathe, be effeminate, changeable, longing, and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, and thus I cured him. And in this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there be not one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my coach and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it to you. By the way, you shall show me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good you.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind.
Come apace, good Audrey, and how, Audrey? Am I the man yet? Doth my simple features content you?
Features? Lord Wartus, what features?
I am here with thee, and thy gods, as the most capricious poet. Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what it is. Is it honest indeed in word? Is it a true thing?
Oh, no, truly. For the truest poetry is the most feigning, and as lovers are given to poetry, what they swear in it may be said as lovers. They do feign.
You wish that the gods made me poetical?
I do truly. For thou swearest to me thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, for honesty coupled to beauty is to have honey, sauce to sugar.
A material fool. No. I am not fair. So I pray the gods make me honest.
But, be it as it may, I will marry thee. And to that end, I have been with Sir Oliver Mortex, the vicar, who hath promised to meet me here in this place of the forest, and to couple us.
I would fain see this meeting. Well, the gods give us joy.
Amen! A man may, if he were of a fearful heart, to stagger in this attempt, for here we have no temple but the wood, no assembly but horned beasts. But what though? Courage! As horns are odious, they are necessary, and it is said, many a man knows no end of his goods, right? Many a man has good horns and knows no end of them. Well, that is the dowry of his wife. 'Tis none of his own getting. Horns? Even so. Poor men alone? No. No. Even the noblest deer hath them as huge as the rascal. Here comes Sir Oliver. Sir Oliver, my text. You are very well met. Shall you dispatch us here under this tree, or will we follow you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give to the woman?
I will take her on no gift of any man.
Surely she must be given, or else the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed. Proceed. I'll give her. Good. Then good master, or what you call it. How do you, sir? You are very well met once again. God built you for your last company. Even a toy in hand here, sir. I'm very glad to see you. Nay! Cover thy head! Will you be married, Motley? As ox hath his bow, sir, so man hath his desires, and as pigeon's bill, so wedlock would be nibbling. Get you to church, and find you a good man who can tell you what marriage is. This man will but join you as they join wainscot, and then one of you will prove a shrunk panel and warp. I am not of the mind, but I were rather to be married of this fellow than of another, for he is not like to marry me well, and not being well married will make it easier for me hereafter to leave my wife. Go now with me and let me cancel thee. Come apace. Good Audrey! We must be married, or we will live in bawdry. Farewell. Good Master Oliver! Not, oh, sweet Oliver, I say, but mind away. Begone, I say! I will not to wedding with thee!
'Tis no matter. Ne'er a fantastical knave of them all shall flout me out of my calling.
Never talk to me, I will weep.
Do I really? We have grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
As good a cause as no desire, therefore we.
His very hair is of the dissembling color.
Something browner than Judas is married. His kisses are due to his own children.
A faint, his hair is of a good color.
An excellent color. Your chestnut was ever the only color.
But why did he swear he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, certainly there is no truth in him.
Not true in love.
Sure, when he is in, but I think he is not in.
You've heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of lovers, the confirmer of false reckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duke your father.
I met with the Duke yesterday and had much question of him. He asked me of what parentage I was, and I said of as good as he, so he laughed and let me go. But what talk we of fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
That's a brave man. He speaks brave words, writes brave verses, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely. But all's brave that youth maps and only guides. Who comes first?
Mistress and master, you have oft inquired after the shepherd that complained of love.
Well, what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of born and proud disdain. Go hence a little, and I will show you if you will mark it.
Oh, come, let us remove the sight of lovers' feet and those in love. Bring us to the sight, and you shall say, I'll prove a busy actor in their play.
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me. Do not even say you love me, not but say not so in bitterness.
I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty sure and very probable that eyes that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on enemies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now, I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Or, if thou canst not, oh, for shame, fly not to say mine eyes are murderers.
Oh, dear Phoebe, if ever, as that ever may be near, you meet some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then thou shalt know the woman's invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you, who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once upon the wretched? What though you have no beauty? Must you be therefore proud and pitiless? By what means this? Why do you look on me? Oh, I think she means to tangle my eyes till now. Faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. You foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? You are 1,000 times a proper man, and she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that make this world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not her class, but you that flatters her. But, mistress, know yourself, down on your knees and thank heaven, fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you, friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets. Cry man mercy, love him, take his offer.
Sweet youth, I pray you, chide in here together. I had rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
Oh, I pray you do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. There's none who be so abused in sight as he. Come to our flock.
Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe.
Oh, what sayest thou, Sylvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee. Sylvius, the time was that I this was irksome to me, I will endure, and thou will avoid me too. But do not look for further recompense than thine own gladness that thou art avoid.
So holy and so perfect is my love, that I shall make it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears. Those now and then a smile, and that I'll live upon.
Knowest now the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I've met him oft.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy, yet he talks well. It is a pretty youth, not very pretty, for sure. He's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. His leg is but so-so, and yet 'tis well. There was a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red than that mixed in his cheek. It was just the difference between the constant red and mingled damask. There be some women would have gone near to fall in love with him, but for my part I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet I have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? I marvel why I answered not again. But that's all one. Omittance is no quittance. I'll write to him a very taunting letter. And thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Sylvius?
I'll speak you with all my heart.
I'll write straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I will be bitter with him and pass it short. Go with me, Sylvius.
Pretty, you let me be better acquainted with thee. They say you are a melancholy fellow. I am so. I do love it better than laughing. Those that are in extremity of either are abominable fellows, and betray themselves to every modern censure worse than drunkards. Aye, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing. Why then 'tis good to be a host.
Good day, and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Nay then, goodbye if you talk in blank verse. Why? How now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You, a lover, and you serve me such another trick. Never come in my sight more.
Fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love. He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts and break but a part of 1,000th part of a minute in the affairs of love. Oh, it may be said of him that Cupid had clapped him over the shoulder.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you be so tardy, come no more in my sight. I had his leaf be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. But come, woo me, for now I'm in a holiday humor and like not to consent. What would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, I'd rather speak first, so when you are gravelled for lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they will spit, and for lovers lacking, God warn us, matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
But who could be out being before his beloved mistress?
Mary, that should you if I were your mistress, and not I, your Rosalind.
I take some joy to say you are, because I would be talking of her.
Well, in her person, I say, I will not have you.
And in mine own person, I die.
The poor world is almost 6,000 years old. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind of this mind, for I protest her frown might kill me.
By this hand it will not kill a fly. But come, now I will be your Rosalind in a more coming our disposition, and ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love you, Rosalind.
Yes, faith will I, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why then can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you shall be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
Pray thee marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin. Will you, Orlando?
Go to, will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
I will win.
Why now, as fast as she can marry us?
Then you must say I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I might ask for your commission, but I do take thee, Orlando, to be my husband. Now tell me how long you would have her.
Forever and a day.
Say a day without the ever. No, Orlando, I will be more jealous over thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more clamorous than a parrot against rain, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing, like Diana in the fountain, and I will do that when thou art disposed to be married. And I will laugh like a hyena, and that when thou art inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so? 2 hours, Rosalind, I will leave.
Alas, your love, I cannot like it 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner. By 2 o'clock, I will be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways. Go your ways. I know. My friends told me as much, and you prove no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me. 'Tis but one cast away, and so come death. 2 o'clock is your hour?
I speak right.
By my troth, if you break one jot of your promise or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most prophetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her that you call Rosalind. Therefore, beware my censure, and keep your promise.
No less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosalind. And so adieu.
Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex and your love trait.
Oh, cuss, my pretty little cuss. And thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love, but it cannot be sounded. My affection hath an unknown bottom.
Or rather bottomless, for as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
I'll tell the alien I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find a shadow and sigh till he come.
An isle to sleep.
What jolly cop that killed the deer, his leather skin and horns to wear, then sing him home, no wretch shall bear his burden. Take thou the scorn to wear the horn, it was a crest where thou was born, thy father's father wore it, and thy father bore it. The horn, the lusty horn, is not a thing to laugh to scorn. What shall we have that killed the deer, his horns to wear, then sing him home.
How say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock, and here much Orlando?
I pray with pure love and troubled brave he attain his bow and arrows and has gone forth to sleep. Who comes here?
My errand is to you, Fairy. My gentle Phoebe, bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I can guess by the stern, round, waspish action she did use when she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but as the guiltless messenger.
She says that I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, and that she could not love me. Her love is not the hare that I do hunt. Why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I know not the contents she read it.
Come, you were a fool and turned into the extremity of love. I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention and his hand.
Well, sure it is hers.
Why, 'tis a boisterous and cruel style, a style for challengers. Why, she defies me. Will you hear this letter?
So please you, for I've not heard it yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this rail?
Whilst the eye of man did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me, meaning me a beast. If the scorn of your bright eye have the power to raise such love in mine, whilst you chid me, I did love, how then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee little knows the love in me, and by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me, and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this child?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? Well, go your way to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake, and say this to her, that if she love me, I do charge her to love thee. If she will not, I will never have her, unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover, hence, and not a word, for here comes more company.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know where in the purlieus of this forest stands a sheepcote, fenced about with olive trees.
Or west of this place down at the neighbor bottom, and at this time the house still keep itself, there is none within.
Then I may profit by a tongue, and I should know you by description. Such garments and such ears. Are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast, being asked to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both. That youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends this budding napkin. Are you he?
I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame, you'll know of me what man I am, and how and where and why this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from him, he left a promise to return again within an hour, and hastening through the forest, lo, what befell. He threw his eyesight and marked what object had presented itself. Beneath an oak whose boughs were lost with age, a wretched, ragged, and or drunken hare lay sleeping on his back. About his neck a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, and with her head nimble in threats approached the opening of his mouth. But suddenly seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with indented flies it slid away into a bush, under which bushy shade, a lioness lay couching, head on ground. When then the sleeping man should stir, for 'tis the royal disposition of that beast to prey on nothing that would seem as dead. This seen Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak with that same man, and he has rendered him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
Well, he might so do, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando did he leave him their food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back and purpose so, but nature, stronger ever than his just intent, made him turn and give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which, hurtling from miserable slumber, I awakened.
Are you his brother?
Was you he rescued?
Was you that did so often try to
Twas
kill
I,
him?
but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin!
On his arm the lioness towards the flesh away, which all of his father bled. And now he fainted, and fainting cried of my Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong in heart, he sent me hither. To tell this story, that you might excuse his broken promise, and give this napkin dyed his blood, unto the shepherd youth that he'd sport to call his Rosalind.
Oh, now Ganymede, sweet Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There's morning, cousin Ganymede!
Look, he recovers.
I wouldn't wear it home.
I will lead you thither. I pray will you lead by the arm.
You have cured you to a man, you unlock the man's heart.
I do so. I confess it. Oh, Sirrah, a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you tell your brother how well I counterfeited.
This was not counterfeit. There's too great testimony in your complexion. It was a passion for it.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, take the good part. Counterfeit to be a man.
So I do, but of faith I should have been a woman by right.
Come, you look paler and paler. We'll lead you thence. Sir, go with us.
That will I. For I must bear answer back, will you excuse my brother, Rosalind?
I shall devise something, but I pray you commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go?
Audrey! There is a youth here in the forest. Lays claim to you.
I know it is. You've no interest in the world. Here comes the man you meet.
Good evening, Audrey.
Good evening, William.
Good evening to you too, sir.
Good even, gentle friend.
Nay! Cover thy head! Cover thy head! Prithee, be covered!
How old are you, friend?
5 and 20, sir.
Right age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
A fair name, wast born in the forest here.
Aye, sir. And I thank God.
Thank God. Good answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir, so-so.
So is good. Very good. Very excellent. Good. Yet 'tis not. 'Tis but so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir, I have a pretty wit.
Why? Thou sayest well. I do now remember a saying. The fool doth think he is a wise man, but the wise man know himself to be a fool. You do love this maid?
Aye, sir.
Ah, give me thy hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. All your writers to consent. Ipsy is he. Now you are not Ipsy, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that must marry this woman. This woman.
mistress to marry, sir. Oh!
Our master and mistress seeks you. Come away. Away.
Trip, Audrey! Trip, Audrey! I attend! Woo!
Is it possible that in so little acquaintance you should like her, that but seeing you should love her?
Neither call the giddiness of it in question, my sudden wooing, nor her sudden consenting. But say with me, I love Ileana. Consent with both that we may enjoy each other. For it shall be to your good. For all the revenue was also Roland's in my father's house, will I escape upon you. Here live and die a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. I will bid the Duke and also and his followers. But go you, prepare Ileana, for look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save thee, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando! How it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
No, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true, for your brother and my sister no sooner met but they looked, no sooner looked but they loved, no sooner loved but they sighed, no sooner sighed but they asked one another the reason, no sooner knew the reason but they sought the remedy. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together.
We shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke and all his followers to nuptial. But oh, so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness, and how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then, tomorrow I cannot serve thy turn for Rosalind.
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you then, no longer with idle talking. Know of me then that I can do strange things. I have, since I was 3-year-old, conversed with a magician. If you do love your Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marries Ileana, so shall you marry her. It is not impossible to me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow, human as she is, and without danger.
Speaks thou in sober meaning?
By my life I do. Therefore, put you in your best array, bid your friends, for if you'll be married tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind, if you will. Look, here comes the lover of mine and the lover of hers.
You done me much of a gentleness to show the letter that I wrote to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him, he worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth which is to love.
Sweet Almina sighs and tears, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
So am I for Phoebe. And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
Sweet all made of fantasy, all made of passion, all made of wishes, purely all trial, all observance, and so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
So am I for no woman.
This is so lovely to love you.
This be so I blame you me to love you.
If this be so, I blame you me to love you.
Who do you speak to? I blame you need to love.
To her that is not here, or doth not
I
hear.
pray you no more of this, just like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow, meet me all together. I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and I'll be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if ever I satisfy man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So fare you well. I have left you commands.
Oh, I'm not failing by the letter.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, the boy can do all this he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe, and sometimes do not.
Patience! Once more whilst our compact is urged. You say that if I bring in your Rosalind, you'll bestow her on Orlando here?
Not when I had I kingdoms to give with her.
You say you'll have her when I bring her?
That would I were I of all kingdoms king.
You say you'll marry me if I be willing.
That will I, should I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse to marry me, you'll
shall give yourself to this most faithful shepherd.
So is the bargain.
You say you'll have Phoebe if she will.
Though to have her and death were both one thing.
Keep you your word, and thus from hence I go to make these doubts all evil.
I do remember in this shepherd voice some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My lord, the first time that I ever saw him, he thought he was a brother to your daughter. But my good lord, this boy is forest-born, and hath been tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by his uncle, whom he reports to be a great magician.
There is sure another flood tomorrow, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here comes a pair of very strange beasts, which in all tongues are called fools.
Greetings and salutation to you all.
Good, my lord, bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I have so often met in the forest. He has been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have flattered a lady. I have undone 3 tailors. I have had 4 quarrels, and like to have fought one.
And how was that, Tatum?
Oh, faith, we met and found it to be upon the 7th cause.
How 7th cause? Good, my lord, like this fellow.
I like it very much.
Oh, God, ill you, sir. I desire you of the like. I press it here amongst the country copulatives to swear and to forswear as marriage binds and blood breaks. Poor virgin, sir, an ill-favored thing, but mine own.
By my faith, he is very swift and sententious.
According to the fool's bolt, sir, and other dulcet diseases.
But for the 7th cause, how found you the quarrel on the 7th cause?
Upon a lie, 7 times removed. Bear your body more seeming, Audrey. As thus, sir, I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. If I sent word his beard was not well cut, he would send word that he was of the mind that it was. Now, this is called the retort courteous. If again I sent word his beard was not well cut, he would send word that he cut it to please himself. This is called the quip modest. If again it was not well cut, he would disable my judgment. This is called the reply careless. If again it was not well cut, he would say I spake not true. This is called the reproof that. This is called the reproof that. If again it was not well cut, he would say I lie. And this is called the counter-check, quarrelsome, and so on, to the lie, circumstantial, and the lie, direct.
Can you nominate now, in order, the degrees of the lie?
Oh, sir, we quarrel in print, by the book, as you have books for good manners. I will name you the degrees. The first, the retort courteous. The second, the quip modest. The third, churlish. The fourth, the reproof. The reproof valiant. The fifth, the counter-check quarrelsome. And the sixth, the lie with circumstance. And the seventh, the lie direct. All of these you may avoid, but the lie direct, which you may too avoid, but with an if. I knew when 7 justices did meet, they could not find it upon themselves to take up a quarrel. But when they themselves were met once more, one of them thought but of an if, as in, if I said so, then you said so. And they shook hands and swore brothers. Your if is the only peacemaker. much virtue. And if
Is not this a rare fellow, my lord? He's as good at anything and yet a fool.
Oh! To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
There be truth in sight. This is my daughter.
There be truth inside, you are my Russell.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu.
I'll have no father if you be not he. I'll have no husband if you be not he, nor ne'er-wed woman if you be not she.
You and you no crush apart. You and you are hard at heart. You to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. You and you are sure together, as the winter to foul weather. While the wedlock hymn we sing, feed yourselves with questioning, that please uncontemplate in hush, how thus we met, and these things finish.
Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me. Even daughter welcome, and no less steward.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith, thy fancy to thee doth combine.
Let me have audience a word or two. The Duke, myself, hearing that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, assembled a mighty power, which were under mine own conduct, purposely to take my brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood I came, where, meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from my enterprise and from the work. My crown bequeathing to my banished brother, and all their lands returned to them that were with him exiled. That this do be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, brother. Forget this new fallen dignity and fall into our rustic revelry. Playing music, brides and bridegrooms all, with measures heaped in joy to the measures fall.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you correctly, yourself have put on a religious life and thrown into neglect upon this court.
I have.
There is much matter to be heard and learned. You to your former honor I bequeath. Your patience and your virtue much deserves it. You to a love that your true faith doth merit. You to your land and love and great allies. You to a long and well-deserved bed. And you, not wrangling, for thy loving voyages for but 2 months. So to your pleasures, I am for other than for dancing measures.
Oh, stay, jackass, stay!
See no pastime I, but I would have on stage know what you're abandoning to.
Proceed, proceed. Let us begin these rites, as we do trust they'll end in true delights.
the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, oh women, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, oh men, that between you and the women the play might please. For my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.